Joe felt something behind him. It was the presence of life and the coming of violence, and that anticipation, that sensitivity, enabled him to turn in time and catch the blackjack on his shoulder, which was better than taking it on the back of his head. Also, it was his left shoulder, and Joe was right-handed, and turning around completely, he was able to grab the man's wrist before the blackjack came down again, and they were face to face, the same height, and Joe immediately drove his forehead, like a brick, into the bridge of the man's nose, shattering the bone, and the man, his eyes blinded by red pain, began to fall, and Joe brought up his knee, brought it up hard, without mercy, into the man's jaw, breaking it. The man went down completely, strings cut, lifeless but breathing. Joe quickly swung his head to the left and the right. He was in an alley wide enough for a car. He'd come out of his flop hotel service entrance in the middle of the passageway, and no one was walking by or had stopped at either end. No one had seen. There was streetlight coming from the avenue, but the alley was mostly in shadow. Joe wiggled his left arm, trying to get life into it. The blackjack had numbed the whole limb, and he dragged the body behind a dumpster and quickly went through the pockets of the light coat, a blue windbreaker. The fallen was a pro, no wallet, no ID, just keys and a money clip with about $200. But there was a cell phone, so he wasn't a total professional. He didn't anticipate losing, and he didn't anticipate being hunted like Joe did. Joe never carried a cell phone. Joe looked at the blackjack, police issue, probably a bent cop from the Cincinnati suburbs doing a little moonlighting in the big town where his face wasn't known. Whoever had sent him didn't want Joe dead. Not yet, anyway. They wanted to bring him in, talk to him. There was probably a partner waiting in a car, waiting for a call. Joe would have been spooked by a car in the alley, so this one had hidden in a cove of a doorway. He'd sap Joe and call his partner. They'd throw his body in the car and bring him to the boss. That had been the plan. It didn't work. Joe looked at the last text message sent. Keep engine running. We'll want to move quick. Copy, was the reply. Probably 2 bent cops. The alley went one way. That meant the partner would be to the left, idling, so he could pull right in, not circle the block. Joe hesitated. He was ready to leave Cincinnati. He had done his job, extracted the girl. He didn't need to take out the one in the car. His informant had given him up, gave them his hotel, even his use of the service entrance. But that's all they could have gotten, because that's all the informant had. Joe thought about what was in his room, a toothbrush, a new hammer, a bag, and a change of clothes. But nothing important, nothing identifiable. He'd been heading out to get something to eat and was going to leave tomorrow, but he should have left as soon as the job was done. Sloppy, he thought. What the fuck is wrong with me? Soon the one in the car would come looking. Joe didn't want any more fights because you didn't win every fight. Joe figured they just wanted to know how he had gotten to them and if others would follow, and then they would have killed him. But he didn't need to take them all out because they wanted information. He was just one man, not the complete arm of justice. I did enough, he thought. The girl is damaged, but free. So he ran the opposite way down the alley, darted his head out fast, looking to his left and right. There wasn't a third man guarding that end. Nobody sitting in a car. Nobody planted in a doorway trying not to look like a plant. He stepped out into the street, started to walk. It was late October, and there was a sweet smell in the air, like a flower that had just died. He thought about a time when he'd been happy. It had been more than 2 decades. Then Joe spotted a green cab. He liked the cabs in Cincy. The cars were old, and the drivers were old. It felt like the past. He got in. Airport, he said, and he fingered the money clip. He'd give the driver a nice tip.